Hey everyone, and welcome back to Art Club. I'm excited to have you guys here for day 2. So let's chat a little bit about what our options are this day, and continuing on with this project, because there's a lot of artistic freedom and creativity that you get to make decisions for what you're going to be doing. So the first thing I wanted to show you were the pictures in our slide. So I want to make it a little bit bigger here with the two birds. It looks like a macaw and a goose, right? So I'm going to make those a little bit bigger for us to be able to check those out. And so you can see that with these bean paintings that they've been painted in over the top of it. And especially if you look at the goose one right here, you can see that when the paint was going on, we weren't really concerned about if the paint also got onto the cardboard backdrop. So that's going to be another thing that you get to choose as you're painting yours, is do you really want to keep it just to the kind of 3D layers that are sticking out, or are you okay with getting some paint on the background as well and just kind of having that all blend together? But these are all painted. Even what are the white beans on the goose and on the macaw have been painted, and you can tell because they're just like a really bright white. You know, if you look at the actual colors of the beans here, they're not as bright as what we're seeing there. So that's painted in too. Okay, let's make that back to normal size so we can show you guys what we're doing and this screen here. So let's go back to this view where you can see what we've got going on. So here's where mine is at so far. So of course I want to continue working on adding my legumes, my beans, peas, and lentils to this painting here. This part I kind of finished yesterday, and you can see where I've started working so far today, adding glue one section at a time and then placing those on in, and of course making sure to use enough glue, right? We want to make sure these stick on there really well. But then I'm going to decide, once all of my legumes are on there, I'm going to decide, do I want a background on there too? Do I want to just paint the background? Do I want to have actual beans, peas, and lentils for part of the background, like we saw on the pictures down there now? So that's going to be entirely up to you as an artist and what you want this to look like. And then deciding from there, do I like it just being all natural colors? Or do I want to add a little bit like extra flair and extra colors that maybe we don't see in these natural products, right? Like the beans, peas, and legumes. So I decided for my cactus that I wanted the flowers to be really bright, because they do tend to be in real life to attract, the insects and whatnot. So I wanted to use this kind of really bright chartreuse color paint that I had. As far as the painting goes, there should have been a few coming in, or that came in your art kit, but maybe you want to use a different color. Maybe you have paint from a previous art club month, or just paint of your own. Any acrylic paint is going to work well for this project. You should also have a couple of paint brushes. Hopefully there's one that's a little bit bigger, one that's a little smaller. So look at the size of where you're going to be painting. If you choose to paint, once again, you don't have to, this is optional. But then decide, is what size paintbrush is going to work best. For example, this paintbrush would be way too big for this area. So I opted for my smaller paintbrush, because that way I can really make sure that I'm getting it on each of those individual pieces and not really getting it on any surfaces that I wouldn't want them to be. And you might find that you want to go over some of these spots, like give it a second coat. Sometimes, depending on what you're painting over, that first coat can kind of get sucked in to it. So sometimes a second coat helps add vibrancy and just make it more even. But that's what we're up to. So once again, put get everything glued on and take a look at it from there and say, like, are there any sections that I want to paint? Or do I want to paint the whole thing? And that is going to be entirely up to you and your artistic vision for what this is going to look like. Continue to have fun creating these this week. Some of my students, like I said, will make one big one and end with that. Some students will make several smaller ones. It's really up to you how many you want to make, how many ideas you have in your mind, and how much time you want to spend outside of art club as well working on this. I cannot wait to see how amazing these turn out. Don't forget that when you complete any of these projects, pop on into our slides and go to the Art Hall of Fame. And don't forget to claim a frame. Oh, look, we got some already. Claim your frame, put on your name, and then put a picture on in there. We've got some already showing up in here, and how cute are those? So cute. And all you have to do to put your picture on in there as a reminder is come up to where it says Insert Image, and you can take a picture right with your Chromebook camera. All right, you guys, I can't wait to see how these turn out. We'll see you next time.